People are searching and starving for hope right now. We need to reject the narrative of hopelessness. God's hope is indestructible. Let's receive God's hope and let's give God's hope.
Jesse Bradley defends hope with the same determined desire as he once did with a soccer goal at his back. The former professional goalkeeper now pastors, chaplains the Seattle Sounders, and appears on national media as an invited contributor, voicing a pastoral perspective from a city that picks its preferences.
Here you are in Seattle, dubbed the least religious city in the U.S. Why do you think there is that disconnect?
You can't deny that reality. We can't stay within the walls of the church. We've taken drive-through prayer to the busiest street. Pull into the parking lot, they pour out their hearts, there's tears for God's presence. And they might say they're not religious, but that doesn't mean they're not open. Some people have experienced hypocrisy. What they need to separate is a negative experience from the goodness of God.
You were a professional goalie, and then tragedy hit. What happened, Jesse?
I played at Dartmouth College. We won 2 Ivy League titles to the NCAA Final 8. From there, I played in Scotland, and then in Africa. It's the Highlanders Football Club. There was a prescribed medication to prevent malaria, built up toxic levels in my system. Tragically ended my career. I was fighting for my life for 1 year, and it took 10 years to fully recover. And it was brutal, Tom. I felt like I lost my identity, but God met me at that low place to rebuild and restore me and even redirect me to be a pastor now.
Footing is important in any sport, paramount in soccer. What does the game allow the player to uncommonly see from the ground up?
Your footwork is your foundation, because soccer is about moving the ball forward together, making the runs off the ball. And when you understand each other, complement each other, that's the culture that you want to build on every team. How can we bring out the best in each other? Learning patience and perseverance on the field carries over into every other part of your life.
What's the primary skill set to be an elite soccer goalie?
I think back to a coach I had who's from Ghana. The 18-yard box, that's where a goalkeeper can use your hands. He said, "You are the lion, and they are coming in to try to steal your cubs. So this is your territory, and you need to lead it. Make sure that nothing is going to enter into the net." That's the mentality you have. If they don't score, we're not going to lose.
You've got to have awareness. You've got to have anticipation.
Goalkeepers have a unique perspective. You see the entire field, and you have to think it's the other teammates to be in the right places. And if you are able to see not just what is happening, but what's going to happen, now you can extinguish the challenges before they can build momentum.
How have those positional instincts equipped you in having the back of a congregation and not needing to be at the forefront of it?
Great question, Tom. When you're up front and when you're in a place where no one's watching, are you the same person? Are you abiding with Jesus? You can't have complacency as a goalkeeper. If you mentally start to drift when the action's further away, you won't be ready when the ball comes. It's about being in the right place and being ready. Abiding with Jesus, being led by the Holy Spirit. Where is God moving? To be available and listening before the save happens. And there's so much in our lives God is preparing us for before the breakthrough and the big moment. It's incremental, not just monumental.
Fitting that you're a chaplain for the MLS Seattle Sounders. What is it about the soccer life that's unique compared to athletes in other professional sports?
Soccer is the most popular sport around the world. It's the beautiful game, more running, more footwork, and there's less scoring. So you really have to appreciate the nuances. The chaplain's role is to serve. What do you need? How can I pray for you? How can I help you in a situation or in your walk with God? Being consistent, keeping your word. When people trust, they open up, and that's where life is rich. A lot of teams care about the souls, the mental health of the players, because they know that this is an individual and it should be much bigger than just their performance.
Yes, it brings a level of care and compassion and empathy and willingness to listen and pray and be there for them, provide love and a safe place for them to be themselves.
So Jesse, what's your message to the players?
Play hungry and pray hungry. The MLS, we've won it twice. CONCACAF champions, the only one in America. A lot of success, we don't want complacency. The same is true in our faith.
I think back to when I was a player, I gave everything for soccer. And then when I came to know Jesus, I thought, how could I give him less? So we want to come to God with a hungry faith. We want more of his presence, more of his encouragement, more of his hope. And then we want to play hungry too.
With every high performance profession, especially sports, identity, and it can be about uncertainty.
Identity leads to security, and security leads to authenticity. And soccer players, athletes feel like you always have to be impressive, compete. When you're secure, you can rest in the Lord's love. And you understand that who you are is not what you do. The crowd's gonna be fickle. You might get traded, you might get cut. And so in a world that's constantly changing, to have Jesus the same yesterday, today, and forever, you have that security in your soul. You're not as rattled by criticism because you already know whose you are, and you don't have to impress everybody. You're secure in how God's made you and being faithful to Jesus. That's our North Star.
We often need to be reminded each of us can be chaplains within our own occupation.
Yes. Choose faith over fear. God calls us to move out of what's just comfortable, and God makes it clear in his word that we are all ministers, we are all priests, and we are all ambassadors for Jesus. Because that's who we are, let's live that out. And when you see lives transformed, now they come alive, and as you serve people, that's when you're going to be at your best. That's when you're most like Jesus.